here we are. We are in Bass Lake Provincial Park near Orillia, and there it is. We are in the, reminding myself,
Eastside?
The Eastside campground. So this is a park which is very handy. It's, I don't know, like less than 10 minutes drive to Auntie Heather and Uncle Bob's place if you wanted to visit them. It's near the town of Coldwater. That's about a 20-minute drive away. Pretty little town. Got some funky shops and things, and the Copper Pot Nut Company.
Most notably.
So hit up Coldwater for yummy beer nut type stuff.
And there is, we didn't go there, but there is a store that sells Kawartha dairy type ice cream. Right.
One of the oddest things about this trip, it's middle of September, and just a short trip, three nights. Haven't spent a ton of time in the park. Yeah. So, we can't tell you everything there is to know about the park. We walked a little bit of, there's a trail that kind of goes from one end of the park to the other, and we walked on part of it. It was a lovely 10-minute stroll from where we are down to the beach, and an arduous 10-minute slog from the beach back up the hill to where the camping is. So the water is quite a bit lower down than where most of the camping is. All of the camping, it's not a big park, and pretty much the whole park is adjacent to a road, and you might even hear some traffic noise in the background of the recording, which would be appropriate because we've been hearing traffic noise the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's a surprisingly busy road, so that's one thing about the park. But if you wanted to stay in the Orillia area or be visiting in and around here, this certainly seems like a nice place to come. I would come back here.
Yeah, and downtown Orillia is super interesting. I would also mention that the beach here, it's got a decent beach. It's nice and sandy, and the water is like sandy bottom, crystal clear. So, which is unusual, I think, for a little lake. It's usually kind of
more murky,
more like a tea lake, as they call them. But this one is clear.
Having said that, it's not a tremendous lake for paddling. Most of the lake has cottages around it, so there's a lot of power boats and things on the lake. Mm-hmm. And it's not like there's a ton of interesting things to kind of paddle around and investigate.
We have not, I mean, not that we've paddled it, but
no, but just you get a sense just to look at it. And also the canoes that they have at the park. So here's the thing about the park. The park is it's a little bit old school. So there are several. It's not throughout, but for example, the comfort station near where we are is a little bit OG. It's a kind of old school. The fire pits are not Ring of Stones, but they're not the kind of new modern standard fire pit.
The comfort station over in Lakeview though is brand new and looks.
That's true. So in the area where there aren't electric sites, then that's a better that's the standard modern comfort station. No laundry facilities in either of the comfort stations that we noticed. So perhaps we're
There's no doubt laundromats in Orillia though.
That's right. They're around.
Yeah, and all the Kaibos have one side full flush toilet. The other side, pit toilet. At least in September, pit toilet covered in bugs.
Crazy, like.
And there's no bugs around, but they will. There are.
All of the bugs are in the pit toilets. Pit toilet half of the Kaibos that are spread around the park.
They're like the stuff of horror movies.
It's some Ren and Stimpy shit.
But the other side is quite clean, and there's a sink with soap outside, like they're modern things,
Yeah.
but the pit toilets, no.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
Horror show.
Horror show.
So we will have in the description a list of some sites that we think are pretty good. You have to be very careful picking a site in this park. The park itself is very hilly, and there are many sites which have prohibitively slopy grades, right?
Camping in the Himalayas.
So, unless you're a Hockley, you have to be really careful. I mean, even we have a relatively flat site. It's not the flattest site, but it's a relatively flat site, and we had to use a lot of extra wood to level the trailer and the tables and all that stuff. So it's a very slopey park. Definitely want to favor the Eastside campground as opposed to the Hilltop campground. Although we did mark a couple of sites that you'll see that in the description anyway. We'll have site numbers. And there are very few places where you won't have prominent traffic noise. But the privacy can be okay. We're here in September, and so the park isn't busy. I mean, it's not empty, but it's not busy.
The main reason we have privacy is because there's nobody in the sites around us.
So I think of our 3 possible neighbors, we only have one, and they're kind of at the back side of the trailer, so not really impinging on us in that way. But there are a couple of sites where we think maybe the privacy might be pretty good, and you're backing onto forest instead of backing onto road or other sites.
Yeah.
So pretty good.
And the other thing I would note, the thing with Hilltop campground is the sites are quite open and sunny in general, and hilly.
Right. So there's no trouble finding a site with full sun.
Yeah.
And I mean lots of sites with full shade also. So the site we're on, which is site 15, I would say has partial shade.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty good, and the weather has been absolutely idyllic. Mm-hmm. Not a drop of rain again. I can't believe this summer. When we were talking about Killbear, we didn't talk about the fact that it rained and rained and rained at Killbear.
Yeah.
But that's really the only, other than one day at Awenda and kind of a day or so in Murphy's Point, we really have had tremendous luck with the weather in terms of it being wet. Mm-hmm. So we're packing up bone dry again. That'll be very nice. It's been lovely during the day. It kind of gets hot in the afternoon, and
it kind of gets hot in the afternoon, but it's cool at night. I mean, it's pretty, and there's 0 bugs, well, next to 0. So
we've had more caterpillars than mosquitoes at this point.
Yeah. So hooray for September. A warm September camping trip.
Yeah. So do that if you can.
Yeah.
So that's it for Bass Lake. Say, nice park. Here's another thing about camping in September. So they do have a park store here, but it's only open on the weekends. So I imagine that's something that didn't really occur to me before, but I imagine you'd see that in a lot of parks where if they have a store, it's not going to be open.
Yeah, because there's really there aren't many people. I mean, there are people camping in the electrical campsites. I think say there may be
a handful,
a third to a half used.
Yeah, third to a half. But when we strolled around in the unserviced sites, I think we didn't see 5.
Yeah.
So, also consistent with our experiences, I think through the summer,
this park is.
Sites are,
I was going to say this park is a major day use park. I'd say so a lot because the boat rentals and the picnic areas and beach and all that stuff. It's all It's
all down in the day use area.
All down in the day use area.
We should note that if you did decide you wanted to paddle around Bass Lake, the canoes that they have to rent here are enormous and/or aluminum.
Yeah.
So they would be a bear to move around.
And
so.
some, and a lot of them didn't have any keel, which is not great on a lake. Yeah.
So again, not probably not the first choice for paddling.
Yeah.
But you can do it if you're keen to do it. And the beach was nice.
Or maybe consider kayaks.
Yeah. I don't know. They had some kayaks to rent, but they were the sort of open kind you just sort of sit on top of and hope for the best.
They were?
Yes.
Oh.
And but when you can walk to the beach, but you would prefer to drive.
Yes.
Not because getting to the beach is hard, but getting back from the beach is a chore.
Yeah.
Oh, we should also mention the what's the name of that place that's half a kilometer down the road? There's a nature reserve.
Right.
What's the name of that place?
George Langman Wildlife Sanctuary, and it's a nice little walk, and they have
free to get in, but they accept donations.
And they have a little collection of birds that you can see.
Kind of a little miniature bird zoo, and then they also have some rabbits, some in a cage, and some just walking around, hopping around, looking for bird kibble. Bring quarters. You can get some corn and things to feed to ducks, and they have some swans that are there, and they'll.
Not that we fed them.
We didn't, but other people. There was a combination of toddlers and
retired people,
old retired guys coming by and feeding the ducks and swans.
Yeah.
And it's got a nice little trail.
Oh, the other thing I want to note, something that we're planning to do on the way out today is visit Quayle's Brewery, which is kind of on the way to Coldwater. We had wanted to stop in there yesterday, but they're only open Thursday to Sunday.
So that's probably also I guess check before you come, depending on the time of year. I'm assuming that their hours might be longer
in the summer. But it looks like quite the place. So I guess we'll find out later.
Put a thumbs up or down in the description of the video to let you know how it goes. So this is it. It's the end of our first camping season with the Alto. I think we might put together a video for our experiments in winterizing the trailer. So we can remember what not to do once we get an expensive repair bill in the spring.
I hope not.
So you can look forward to that as well.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll see you next summer.
Yep. By 2024.